Blasphemy! The blasphemy! dare you say such a thing? That is insanity.
Wesson General Contracting Incorporated, we're your one-stop shop for all your general contracting needs. We are locally owned and with over 20 years of experience, so roofing, gutters, sidings, fence staining, painting, foundation problems, or roof damage are no problems at all. Give us a call at 214-200-5588. That's 214-200-5588. Wesson General Contractors.
The prospect of retirement can be exciting and scary at the same time. At Nest Egg Wealth Advisors, we have found many people either approaching or currently in retirement failed to truly maximize some of the benefits offered to them, primarily Social Security. What is it? How does it work? It's simply not a benefit that you start receiving at age 62. Because these decisions are so important, my firm has assembled an informational packet on Social Security. If you would like a complimentary copy of Social Security Maximization, please give our office a call today at 972-412-6064 or visit us on the web at nesteggadvice.com. At the Jerry Bullet Training Center, we are a motivated team of coaches with the mindset of helping you achieve and reach your highest goals. Having developed and trained over 100 Division I athletes as well as Division II athletes, even professional athletes, the Bullet team definitely has the knowledge and mindset to take you to the next level. Check out our new 22,000 square foot facility and 3,000 square foot weight room, along with 4,500 square feet of outdoor turf and covered training area, along with football and soccer fields. Contact Melvin Bullitt at 214-326-7853 or visit their facility just outside of Waterview at 8900 Princeton Road in Rowlett.
Being taken for a ride? Check out Casso Insurance, serving Texans since 1981. Bundle your home, auto, or business insurance and save a ton. Casso Insurance on the corner of Main Street and Rowlett Road, where we make insurance fun. Or check us out on the web at CassoInsurance.com, where we always have the coffee pot on.
Yeah, but is it fresh?
There is nothing that beats good home-cooked barbecue. Since 1941, Dickey's Barbecue has done all the cooking and you take all the credit. Come see us today at our Rowlett location, 5701 President George Bush Turnpike, Suite 110 in the Target Shopping Center. Whether you want to eat in or take it home, we will fix you up. For lip-smacking, rib-tickling, knee-slapping, foot-stomping, great-tasting barbecue, come see us at Dickey's Barbecue today.
Here at Fit Body Boot Camp, located in Saxe, the solution is here. Fast, long-lasting weight loss results and the healthy lifestyle you need to keep them. The key to your fat loss success is our signature afterburn workouts, as well as support and motivation from our world-class coaches, and an easy-to-follow nutrition program to help you keep the fat off. Visit your local Fit Body Boot Camp in Saxe today to see the difference for yourself, or give us a call at 214-463-3005. That's 214-463-3005. Fit Body Boot Camp, Saxe. Saxe Ice House is a non-smoking craft beer and beer pub located in the heart of Saxe. The Ice House was opened to provide a friendly, clean, and female-friendly environment. Saxe was lacking a place for service industry, date nights, and girls' nights, as well as happy hours. Excellent service and top-notch food are our priority. On Tuesday, we offer 79-cent wings, as well as half-price burgers on Mondays. So check us out at the Ice House, located at 6501 Highway 78 in Saxe, or give us a call at 469-304-1550, or check us out on the web at saxeicehouse.com. Go Mustangs!
That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. You don't play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then we're tired. Get out.
We couldn't do diddly poo offensively. We couldn't make a push down. We couldn't run the ball. We didn't try to run the ball. We couldn't complete a pass. We sucked. We sucked.
You play to win the game.
That's pitiful.
You don't play to just play it.
Perform like that.
You don't play to win.
What's that?
You start telling me
we suck.
It doesn't matter. Then we're tired.
You kidding me? Playoffs? What's that? Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? Playoffs? That's pitiful. Playoffs?
backs. Get off the players' backs. Backs. I'm responsible for the whole thing. I'm responsible for the whole thing. Okay.
The Bears are who we thought they were. That's why we took the damn field. Now, you want to crown them? They crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
I told you what I'm gonna do now. Now you wanna what I'm gonna do because I'm contingency of that. Wanna know what I'm gonna do in a contingency of that. All of which are hypothetical.
I'm the coach of the team. I'll decide
who's sitting, who's playing.
I'll decide who plays, when they play, where they play. That's why we took the damn field. That's why we took the damn field.
What's next? You play to win the game.
I want winners.
You don't play to just play it.
I want people that want to win. This is how I believe, okay?
All right, we're going to try this again. Find out. By the way, this is pretty cool. When you play, that's why we took the damn field. I'm just checking it out if someone can send up a message while I wait. And there we go. All right, we are back here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. After we came off like Alvin and the Chipmunks, we are here. Went ahead and got it. So we're all set and ready to roll. Back to what I was talking about. Alvin and the Chipmunks. Anyway, back to Isaiah. Come on, guys. Isaiah, I love you. Bad boys, love you. But you got to stop talking, my friend. I'm telling you. Your jealousy is getting in the way of what you do. And it's sad. I got to put this back up because, well, when I start this up, we're going to kind of just jump right into this pot. But Isaiah, I'm going to tell you, and I love you. I'm glad you're where you are in the world of basketball, where you did as one of the bad boys. I understand it, but, man, you couldn't carry Stefan. Hey, listen, this is an old school guy. And I love old school, and I'm going to defend old school where it needs to be defended. But Isaiah, I love you. You're a Hall of Famer, but you can't carry and would not be able to carry Stephen Curry's job. Sorry, you can't. But that also being said, though, I get where he thinks it because of his nonsense. But, you know, if you want to say that maybe you're better than some other players in the NFL or in the NBA that are playing right now, great. I think I might even agree with you. But you can't carry Stephen Curry's job. You just can't. And I wish you could. As I know. This is what I was talking about. You got it in the Chipmunks. But I'm talking about and more than the fact that craziness is running rampant with players. See, back in the day, players kept their mouths shut. And why did they do that? Because they say stupid things. So when you say stupid things, of course, people are going to look at you odd. And this is a stupid thing to say. A very dumb thing to say. And frankly, you should be embarrassed. Isaiah Thomas, great basketball player. One of the best of all times. But listen, Stephen Curry passed you a long time ago, my friend. And he is just that good, my friend. And the fact that you can't see it is one of the problems with you. The fact that you can't see that you are not better than Michael Jordan or you got an axe to grind with the real GOAT. You got to stop it. But back to what I was saying in Chipmunk Land is that a lot of times right now, especially in the NBA. And this is a problem within the NBA, I think. Well, no, we're kind of doing it in the NFL, but throwing greatness up on players is really sad. the simple fact of the matter is, Zion is a bust. Now, I know that I will have people say, Sonny, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, here's the only thing I know. Not what I think I know, but what I know. And this might be a generational thing. This might be we got to pat him on the head to make him feel better kind of thing. But in order for you to be good, Zion, you got to play. In order for you to be good or considered one of the best or worth the money, we got to see it. When we don't see it, and especially old school guys like me, when we don't see it enough, of course we're going to criticize it. The money you made is so much more than the greats of this game. And you want to be anointed as one of the greatest to play, a la LeBron. But I'm going to tell you straight out, Zion might be one of the biggest busts that I can think of outside of Jamar Russell for the Raiders. And listen, I'm not going to deny the guy can play, but he doesn't play enough. And when you don't play enough, no one can look at you seriously. Especially old school guys. Can't look at him and go, yeah, we got to put him up there. Zion is some of the best. Zion is not even close. And look at the salary that man makes. I'm all about guys getting money. I've gone back to what I'm saying. It's not their money until it's given to them. So Stephen A. Smith talking for Lamar Jackson, like give him his money. No, it's not his money until he made it. And Lamar Jackson lovers, I completely understand where you're getting. And you can say whatever you want about him, and you would be right. Except the fact this guy deserves $200 million. Zion can't get out on the basketball court. You think the Pelicans are rethinking the whole idea of what Zion was for them? Of course they are. The Ravens are they're so smart. And I'm going to say they're so smart because they're not falling for the Stephen A. Smith thing. If Stephen A. says it, it's got to happen.
Blasphemy! The blasphemy!
Not blasphemy. It is what it is. And in Lamar Jackson, smart in one way, but shows his desperation at the same time by bringing on Steve.
How dare you say such a thing? That is insanity.
I said it. Now, the genius part about that is everybody's talking about Lamar Jackson. Okay? And the part that you might have heard in Chipmunk Land that might not have come across is that Lamar Jackson, getting offered $133 million guaranteed is not a bitch slap. Okay, I'm sorry, it's not. Okay? Simple fact of the matter is guys that are making big time money have done something with it. And the most importantly is they made the
playoffs. Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
Yes, we're
playoffs.
Yes.
I just hope we can win a game.
Or win a game in a vital part of the season, and that's the last 5 games of the season that hasn't shown up for, unfortunately, for the last 2 years for the Ravens. And last year, if he could have even made it back for the playoffs. But I go back to what I've heard that him not being available, at least this year, could have been a business decision for him. Well, in business, sometimes you make a bad business decision. And by that, I mean, is that maybe he could have been ready. And, I shouldn't question, I shouldn't question whether or not that Lamar Jackson could have played in the playoffs. But here's what I know. Not what I think I know, but what I do know. Is all the greats would have been in that damn game. All the greats. They would have done it. That's what makes them great. they would have been in the game. You listen, I got news for you. Okay, and I'm no genius, but all the greats, Drew Brees, okay, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, even showed it. Patrick Mahomes even showed their worth. And the fact that, and listen, all I heard, all the way up to the playoffs and to get to the playoffs, he could probably play. Maybe he could play. Maybe he can play. And that's coming from people who've spoken to doctors, and he did not play. Was it a business decision? Number one, if it was a business decision, the Ravens are definitely doing the smart thing. I would have took them to an extreme and said, well, if they believed that it was a business decision, I would have just let the guy go. Forget even putting a tag on him. He could just fly. I mean, if you're going to spend my money and be that way, and I'm going to give you my money to get that business decision, at least for this year. I don't know about last year. I won't, but what I'll say about last year is that he wasn't there for 5 games at a vital part of the season. And guess what? Boom. They would have made the playoffs if he would have been in there, seeing how they win 70% of the games when he is out there. Okay. That winning percentage is sick. And I'll put that out there and say how great that is. But guess what? If you don't get close to Lombardi, you're not going to get your $200 million that Stephen A seems to think this guy is worth. Now, Stephen A may think he's worth $200, but the Ravens get him automatically if they wanted to. They could have put him on a hard franchise tag. They didn't. They let it open to where, guess what? He could get offers and then they could match it. Now, granted, are other teams doing the dirty work for them? Yeah. Why not? Why should they bust it? They've already got the guy. Okay. And it's up to them. So it was ingenious. And it was also saying, and good, better, and different. And you can have this opinion about the NFL and NFL owners and NFL teams all you want. But this right here is a grab to say, wow, let's get off of the drugs. Let's get off of $246 million for Deshaun Watson, which, by the way, is not even the top 15 quarterback in the NFL. And yeah, I just said it, and we can argue about it all day long, but you'd be wrong because guess what? He played horrible last year after he got off of the suspension, and he played there. Until you're not on the football field for 2 years, you're not top 15 in any sport in reality, unless you're a GOAT, and he is far from a GOAT. You get Patrick Mahomes' money. But right now, the Chiefs are working out a $300 million extension. Yeah, I said it. That's what I read from, I think it was Sporting News. They're not messing around. Why? Because guess what? He's worth the $500 million they gave him, and he's worth another $300 million on top of it. Why? He won 2 Super Bowls way faster than Tom Brady ever did. He's on his way of being a GOAT. And you can't deny greatness. And I'm sorry, Lamar Jackson is good. You can call it greatness, and maybe I should have used a better word for Patrick Mahomes. Whatever's better than great. Because Lamar Jackson, let's just be honest, he is a great football player. I'll give him that. He is not $200 million. He's not even the bad Kyler Murray 186. Lamar Jackson is worth the money that was offered to them by the Ravens. And why are the Ravens being looked at as being the bad guys in it? Does anybody I know or ever fan out there have $133 million just sitting around they can hand off to somebody? And here's another thing. The $133 million, okay, listen, we already got him 5 years. We've seen what he has. 2 bad playoff games, and then one he should have been in, wasn't in. Last 2 years, we haven't seen him in December and January, the most valuable time of the game. Why are we going to throw this money at this guy? We are not that stupid. And guess what? they'll make out like a bandit, because if they don't want to match it, they're going to get 2 first-round draft picks. They'll go grab another quarterback. So listen, the Ravens are so smart. And what this is the NFL and NFL owners getting a hold of what is going on. And I'm going to bring up a placard here because it is an interesting placard. I got to find it because I didn't get an opportunity to label them as much as I wanted to. But let's see here. There it is right there. These are your highest paid quarterbacks right now in the NFL. Now, there's 2 on there that are going to be making a lot of money. That maybe shouldn't. Maybe 3. Actually, because I don't see the third one, I think. Yeah. The third one I'll talk about here in a moment. But these are the guys that are making the money. Okay? Murray at number 3. What has he done? Nothing. What the Cardinals do, they got down on their hands and knees and sold their soul to the devil. That is one Kyler Murray. Number 4, Deshaun Watson. I mean, the person that actually signed this check and contract must have been on a freaking 2-week load of cocaine, because they're paying him more than Patrick Mahomes. Aaron Rodgers at $50 million. He'll probably get $53 million going over to the Jets, maybe $55. After they do all the contract. Russell Wilson at least has won a Super Bowl. He's been god-awful, but part of that is that he wasn't having that coach there. I believe that. Because you can't convince me that Russell Wilson all of a sudden didn't know how to read defenses or throw the football. Just can't convince me of it. You can convince me of a good conspiracy, though. Because I'm all about conspiracies. So, maybe. Let's have a conspiracy. I mean, because you can go back, okay, and see what Russell Wilson did to get out of where he was and where he is now, and what he did in order to get out, and when he didn't get his way, he left. Josh Allen. Now, you can call him a what have you done for me lately, but guess what? He's made noise, won big games, got to the playoffs, maybe didn't win them. Matthew Stafford, I feel bad for the Rams right now because they don't even know what the hell they're going to do with that. They eat $40 million. Dak Prescott, say whatever you want about Dak. I put all that up. I really do. I mean, because, listen, Dak Prescott came into this league after taking over for Tony Romo. And I'm telling you right now, that guy was a superstar. And you can't tell me he doesn't still have superstar qualities. The fact, though, Daniel Jones is making $40 million, same as Dak. And then you got Carr, who just signed that contract. $37.5 million. And you want to talk about a guy that done nothing. Oh, you can talk about how good he is, and he's a pretty good player. I'll give him that. Man, this was a what have you done for me lately? But when it came to Deshaun Watson and signing that contract,
Real dumb.
we're the Browns. That's the dumbest thing you think I've ever seen, heard. But in order to get big money like this, Lamar, you got to win. Now, granted, Carr hasn't done anything to win. Jones, can't even make it to a breakaway to the end zone without falling on his face. But however, had a great year. But that was all about Dable. And look what Dable did with Josh Allen. He's just continuing on to do what good he can teach quarterbacks. And that's the reason why they're making that money. I'm telling you. But this whole week, going to be about quarterbacks.
who's going to get what. And it starts tomorrow. Signs officially on Wednesday, but you'll hear it. But I'm going to tell you right now, listen to this. And I don't know, I'll just put it up. Here, let me just put it up, because this one right here, and if you did not watch the show or listen to what I've said about Tua, I'm telling you right now, Tua was a bad mofo before he got his ass kicked out of those games with that concussion. This guy could have been in the talking for an MVP. Now, granted, if you know anything about me, I'm not a Tua fan, but I'm going to give the guy some creds. Now, Miami picking up his fifth-year option, good, bad, or indifferent, I don't know. But here's what I know about Tua, that I don't know if an offseason is going to be enough for this guy to be 100%. And the reason why I say that, okay, is that we got some players that have retired and have come back, and there's one that's being talked about right now because San Francisco might take a look at him. And this, San Francisco is about ready to throw themselves into the Pacific Ocean right there next to him. Because if the 49ers think the answer at the quarterback position is a Phillip Rivers who played like dog stuff in Indianapolis, but okay, maybe supposedly he's better, San Francisco is going to lose a lot of players here if they don't watch it and they don't start signing some guys, and they're not going to be there. But what does Phillip Rivers get? If the San Francisco 49ers want to sign this dude and bring him back and say, this is the guy, how much does he get? Is he worth $52 million like Geno Smith, which, by the way, was not on that list, and he should have been? Because when that pick thing was made, it was before he signed that thing. So just to let you know. $52 million? And see, I can't. Okay. And I know this is kind of high schoolish of me. So I'm taking a trip back to the 80s here. I hope he falls on his face. I hope. I just want to be able to say I was right, because I'm going to tell you right now, $52 million for Geno Smith is just like, throw me some. I mean, it is a horrible contract. Yeah, I said it. It was horrible. You're paying Geno Smith $52 million. You're paying. Just think of this. This year, you're paying Geno Smith $52 million. Did you see that list that I put up? I'm telling you. And by the way, just think about this. There's some guys that can be just thrown around here really quick. I mean, just think about these. And because there's either trades, cuts, whatever. This was after the signings of 3, and I'll bring that up here in a minute. But these are the guys that are still around. Aaron Rodgers right now being rumored Jets all day long. I think that's probably a done deal. Matt Ryan being cut. Why not? Let's see who's saying what. Good to see Anthony. Anthony, and I got mad love for Anthony, by the way, in case anybody don't. He was in our Pick'em League, but which we didn't do all that great in. But I'll tell you this right now. I'm gonna take Daniel Jones in that bet. So if you want to throw a shiny new dime on that bet, I'll take that bet, because I think Daniel Jones is about ready. That guy was an offensive coordinator or an offensive mind at the quarterback position from him being as good as he was last year. And in this division, we don't know what's going to happen with Jalen Hurts. Will he continue? I don't know. Dak Prescott, that tough division. Listen, I'm telling you now, because they're beginning to pick it up. If Dak Prescott and the Cowboys live up to their potential, the only team in this division of football that is in a complete and utter disaster are the Washington Commanders, for God's sake. All three of these teams made the playoffs last year. But Geno Smith has a history, so does Daniel Jones, but there's more of history of bad from Geno Smith that you put $42 million in his lap. I don't know, but it is what it is. DeAndre Hopkins, will he be traded? I don't know. If the Arizona Cardinals lose D-Hop, listen, that that contract for Kyler Murray even gets worse. Michael Thomas, and I'm just gonna say it. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. He, out of all these wide receivers that were great, and guys, let me tell you something. Michael Thomas is a badass, but he knew he hasn't had any. If they had Drew Brees throwing him the football, you think that he would have seen the field more last year or the year before that? I think so, because when you don't have a team that's worth a damn, those injuries, you go from being hurt to having injuries. And Michael Thomas is one of those guys. And it's just taking the money, just robbing the Saints. Yeah, I said it. Frank Clark, this guy might get cut, and he's not going to get cut because he's not a badass, because he's going to have a contract that's crazy. Jameis Winston, hey, this guy's going to make a living as a backup quarterback, and they pray they don't have to use him. And Tyler Lewin, he's going to get cut. Carson Wentz, not worth a nickel, cut. Ezekiel Elliott, they were going to try to keep Elliott and Pollard, and they'll be paying two running backs close to $30 to $35 million in 1 year. I don't know if that's financially smart. I don't know how much value really Ezekiel Elliott is right now, but and then Jalen Ramsey, he's going to get traded. You watch out. Jalen Ramsey, he's going to be on a football team that is going to need a guy that's his way. And maybe because, listen, Ramsey, if you watched him, and I watched him in some games against some teams, that guy no-showed like you wouldn't believe. And it wasn't necessarily because they were a better football, but the one was they were a better football team. But the other ones where he failed miserably, I don't think that was the case. Kenny Golladay, they need to keep him to help Daniel Jones and all that money he's going to make. Joe Mixon, and I know Bryce hates me when I say it, but I'm just going to say it. Probably one of the most overrated running backs in the last 5 years. But, hey, he is a foundation, but depending on how much money he's going to get or want an extension, he might get cut. Byron Jones is going to get cut. And then Brandon Cooks, they're going to trade and find out what they need to do with them. I'm telling you right now, there's some guys right now that are hanging by a thread in the NFL. Good, better, and different, fair or not, it just is what it is. And guys that are not on there, Jimmy G, my boy, Jimmy G. Well, could Jimmy G be in Carolina after they traded away that Bears thing? And I'll get to that in a moment. As a holdover to whichever quarterback they'll draft. We'll talk about that in a moment. But Tampa Bay, that's where I think it should go. Miami, they just did the deal, and they're saying Tua, and I don't think they're going to pay Jimmy G $25 million to back him up. Jets, they have already going to go there. But then the Raiders are a team that, if they were smart. Listen, the Raiders are not known to be a smart football team. We all know it. Especially when it comes to signing guys. But the Raiders should make a play for Jimmy G big time. I might even become a Raider fan. But the latest on Jimmy G is this one right here. And this is where, me personally, I don't want Jimmy G to go. Mainly because I could keep proving my point with a winning percentage that is unbelievable. So, listen, hey, I think I agree with you, but that's the way of the NFL, Anthony. Anthony says if Kenny Galladay gets a big deal, I'm about signing up for the NFL. I get, and I understand. I don't think it's right. I understand. But Jimmy G is not a place that I want to see him go to is the Texans. I do not want to see this. Now, if he goes there, they're going to offer him a hell of a lot of money because he isn't going to go there unless the money is right. And he's not going to see. Jimmy G is not one of these quarterbacks that can demand things. He's just damn good when he's out on the football field. You'll win 65, 70% of your games. And I don't care what they said about him in San Francisco and every place else that he's played. Then this guy's out on the football field, he wins. I don't want to hear, nor do I care, that Jimmy G can't throw the ball deep down the field because guess what? He wins football games without doing it. And guess what? When you are a football team that are not winning football games because of it, you take a Jimmy G, and Jimmy G will develop a deep pass down the field when it's available, because you can't tell me that Jimmy G can't throw the ball deep down the field just because he doesn't. Sometimes you just go with what is given to you. Sometimes you take that higher percentage pass. Health is a big issue with Jimmy G, and there's no question. And me personally, I do not want to see Jimmy Garoppolo as a Houston Texan for his career. I just don't want to see it for him because I like me some Jimmy G. And listen, I think if they get on a football team that they are going to love a guy, it's got to be that. Now, big stuff. The Bears were on the clock until it happened. Now, the Panthers, they are on the clock. But, man, did the Panthers make out like a bandit or what? I'm just saying. They got their superstar quarterback. Their top three probably going to be quarterbacks. They dropped to number 9. They get a second-round draft pick this year as well. They get a first-round draft pick next year, a second-round draft pick the year after that, and then they throw on DJ Moore. So, what do the Bears look like? It's amazing. With this trade, and then where are you going to rank the top? These three: Claypool, Mooney, and Moore. Now, granted, this is not a 1, 2, 3 punch. That is something that you write home to mama about. I'm not saying that, but I'm going to say this. When you're looking at the potential offense and look at the youths in this, you got another 10 years with your quarterback, another 5 for a wide receiver, and maybe 2 or 3 for a running back. You're looking at an opportunity here. So the running back is probably the one they're going to have to worry about first. And I'm going to tell you right now, those are big time things coming. It could be. It could be, Anthony, that next year first round pick could be a top 10. Not only that, they score up and bring in Moore into the lineup. And listen, Moore's being paid top 10 money because guess what? He's top 10. There's some guys out there who are making top 10 money that are not even top 10. So with what the potential offense at this young age, it's not saying the Chicago Bears are going to be kicking ass and taking names in 2023, but you better look out for 24, especially if Justin Fields can start finding some of these wide receivers to where they're not going to lean on Justin Fields to run for 150 a game, which means you don't have anything and you're not going to win football games that way. Obviously, as you've seen, all the greatness of the Bears were last year with him running all those yards, and everybody's so impressed. They won 3 football games. Yeah, I know what the result is. I know what it is. But listen, you want to talk empty yards? You want to talk empty yards? You just look at Justin Fields. Empty yards. It is pathetic. And if the Bears offense doesn't figure out how to get the ball out of his hand through the air, this isn't going to get much better regardless of the potential offense that the Bears are looking at right now. And Cuervo, I am sorry, because I know you said you're going to come back and listen to this. He's not going to be here. But I'm sorry, Cuervo. I don't even think Cuervo expects them to make the playoffs. But the year after, man, depending on how this season goes, you can look at the Bears as maybe a threat. Because guess what? You can say whatever you want about Minnesota. Minnesota made a big mistake this week. And for me, I am at a loss in reality when this happened. And that might be because Jefferson's going to be making a lot more money, and it's hard to justify. But this is veteran guy. Veteran, when Jefferson's doubled up, can make noise. This is a big mistake for Minnesota, I'm telling you. Someone's going to grab him up, get him up for a pretty good contract, and he's going to play out of his mind on that. And that's going to be huge. So what happened last week when we weren't on air? Well, what happened? Daniel Jones, $160 million. Derek Carr, $150 million. Geno Smith, $105 million. Those are guaranteed monies. Guys that are still out there. Pollard. I'm starting at the bottom because the Dallas Cowboys better open the wallet to this guy. Forget Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah, I said it. If you can keep Zeke for a low price, go ahead. But playing 2 running backs over $30 million, it just doesn't make any sense. But the Dallas Cowboys know how to do that. Saquon Barkley. I'm telling you right now, this guy is going to get some money. The question is, are the Giants going to pay it? Because this is what is looking at right now. This is what right now is on the board for Saquon as far as the Giants are concerned, and that I don't think it's going to be enough, especially with what he did last year. And the Giants, I don't think, can afford not to have Barkley on that football field and expect Daniel Jones to be Daniel Jones, or they better find someone at the running back position that can at least create a threat. And no, it's not Ezekiel Elliott. Although, believe it or not, the Cowboys are supposedly in the running for Saquon Barkley. When they got Pollard, when they got Elliott as well, you throw in Saquon Barkley, Elliott will be gone. If they're smart, but they're not. But last week, Josh Jacobs, he gets his money, I guess if that's what you want to call it, $10.9 million. Pretty good numbers. Then you got Ingram with Jacksonville. These are monies that are they haven't been gotten yet, by the way. These are franchise tag players. And these are monies that are going to be getting out there. And then you got Payne, defensive tackle for Washington, and then Lamar Jackson. Now, Lamar Jackson, totally different story when you see what's going on with him and what does he bring. And obviously, those numbers are pathetic and crazy. He wants big-time money. He's making more than Patrick for even what's going to end up happening. He's probably by the numbers, even though there's more numbers, I get it. But I'm talking official numbers. He's going to be right at Patrick Mahomes. By the way, how good is Patrick Mahomes? Well, he's just bad. He's already a Hall of Famer. That's question mark needs to be taken off of there. You're talking about a guy that has better numbers at a young age. And if you think Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer, Patrick Mahomes already better. 2-time MVP, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, one of 3 players with multiple MVPs and Super Bowl MVPs, 4,000 postseason passing yards. By the way, that's 10th all-time. 35 postseason passing touchdowns, which is 8th of all time. 11 postseason wins, tied at 12th all time amongst all quarterbacks. This guy's already a Hall of Famer. If he doesn't even touch the field, retired now, they'd have to put him in the freaking Hall of Fame because he's just that bad. Of course, it's not. And these are the reason why, Lamar Jackson. This is a reason why. Down 10 points in the playoffs since 2008. Patrick Mahomes is 4-2. The rest of the NFL is 7-45. Throw in Jalen Hurts. Look at this. This was the Super Bowl numbers. I mean, you could argue that Jalen Hurts, listen, Jalen Hurts should be making probably more money than Lamar Jackson. Yes, said it. He's just under that first year, 5-year contract thing that he's falling up there. But that said, guys that are available, top quarterback candidates, Carr's gone off of this list. Daniel Jones is off this list. Lamar Jackson's still alive, and all the rest of them really coming out of college. It's really, unless you're going to make the trade like the Jets seem to be thinking that they are going to want to do, to go ahead to bring in Aaron Rodgers, unless you're going to trade to get a guy. These are the guys that are available. But I will say this. Super Bowl is where it's all about. Playoffs is where it's at. At the end of the season, the last 5 games that Lamar Jackson has not seen the football field for 2 years is where he makes his money. That's his money maker. Means nothing. We've seen it. If you win your first 7-8 games in a row, or they go 7-1 and still don't make the playoffs, it means nothing. But when you don't make the playoffs, okay, or when you do and you're not available, or early in your career, which you had all the excuses in the world because you were early in your career, didn't play well in the playoffs, you want to see money before somebody sees results. And I'm telling you, Lamar Jackson, you need to put in some more years. That is why the franchise tag is thrown in there. That's the reason why it is. And the fact that Lamar Jackson has the audacity to think that he's being lowballed. And mark that. Stephen A says he thinks he's being lowballed, which in turn Lamar Jackson thinks he is because he's a mouthpiece for him, is almost insulting. $133 million and they're gaffing at it. But no, it can't be Lamar Jackson's performance. No, it's because 2 guys are making more money and arguably he's better than both of them. So yeah, he should get it. But I think the NFL is finally doing the right thing, which is getting it under control. Saying, no, this is where this is stopping. And listen, I'm going to tell you, The Ravens aren't gambling at all. The Ravens are crazy strategic in this whole thing. I'm going to tell you the reason why, Anthony, because I got mad love for you. The reason why they're doing this, they don't care. They threw money out. 133, this is where you are. Okay, don't take it. Franchise tag it. Great. Still going to get about the same amount of money that he would in reality with the contract that they offered him. So the Ravens lose nothing in this unless another team decides to throw the money at him that he thinks he's worth, and then they have a right to match it. But then they got a big question. I mean, 2 first-round draft picks. Is Lamar Jackson worth that? And what have you done for me lately, league? When arguably maybe, he played a little business at the end of the season and in the playoffs. I will tell you right now, and this is the problem with young players. This is the problem. We have to anoint these young players before they've proven that they deserve what they're getting. Kansas City is just the only smart one. Once he did it and showed that he's going to continue, they gave him his money then, and that was the smart thing to do. Why? Because they won him a Super Bowl and made that franchise look like they were back in the early Super Bowl years, 1, 2, and 3. Put the Kansas City Chiefs on the map. Now, that being said, Lamar has people thinking that they can be placed on the map, but he hasn't shown that he has a place on the map. And that is the reason why. And the NFL needs to get back to this because you're seeing teams and you're seeing bad contracts where they're eating a lot of money on a lot of bad contracts just because that was the going rate. That's what the things were called for. And the Ravens are saying, no, this is our business model. Now, you may not like our business model. That's why you have the NFL Players Association making you and do all this. But guess what? The money that you want isn't what the Players Association says that you are entitled to. We're the ones that decide whether or not you're worth this money. And I like that in reality. Now, again, opens the door for Lamar Jackson as his own agent to get the money he wants from somewhere else. But here's the thing. Right now, and I just read this morning, and it's, if you look over on Sports Illustrated, it's over there. But there are teams out there going, we're not going to do the Ravens' dirty work in reality, which is set the market for Lamar Jackson just so they can match it. But you know what? If they match it, 2 first-round draft picks, man. I'm telling you right now, that changes franchises if it's done correctly. Now, Lamar Jackson, on the other hand, you lose Lamar Jackson, that could cost you a franchise as well. So there's a lot of gambling going on. But guess what? The Ravens are going to make money with or without Lamar Jackson. And the difference of the money that they are not going to make is not going to be that much. With or without him on that football, this is a business decision. This isn't Lamar Jackson, we're against you. No, they're against the Browns signing Deshaun Watson for $250 million. They're against the Cardinals, signing Kyler Murray. And also, take a look at that. Look at those 2 guys. They're not guys that have proven they can win. Now, the problem with that now is guess what? You have next year guys that are going to be looking for some money. They're hoping Lamar Jackson gets what he gets because it moves up franchise tags. And also, all that being said, puts more money out for Josh Allen to get his money. Joe Burrow's up for it next year. There's some big numbers about ready to happen in order for them to retain their guy. Now, I wish I could have found what is going on as far as quarterbacks in the AFC. I wish I could have found this list. It's not, I got a list here. Let me find this thing because I want you to see something because I think it's kind of interesting. Here it is right here. Here is the starting quarterbacks for the NFC. Okay. Projected kinda. Because when you look at the NFC West, you don't know if it's going to be Brock Purdy based upon the surgery, which, by the way, was good and successful. Matthew Stafford, kind of a shaky boat. Geno Smith locked in as the next big thing in Seattle. You want to talk about a brand that's going to, I just can't wait for that contract. I can't wait until they're 1-4. I just can't wait. And then you got Kyler Murray. The NFC West needs some quarterbacks. And it's sad. I'm just going to say it. It might be sad, and I'm going to make Geno Smith people sound really good. He might be the best quarterback in the NFC West based upon his performance from last year, not because of history. Because history, he wouldn't be able to carry, Matthew Stafford's job. Matthew Stafford's an interesting guy, too. He wins you a Super Bowl, comes back and plays like dog garbage the year after that. And then he's going to get some big money, too. I think his number was $42 million. Rams got a big decision to make there because Baker Mayfield, I don't know. Will he be there? I don't know. But the NFC East is interesting at the quarterback position, except for one team, because you got between these guys, after Jalen Hurts is going to want the money, along with, Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. Jalen Hurts is going to be making some big-time money. You got 3 of the 4 in this division. These are badass quarterbacks. To say whatever you want about Daniel Jones, but as long as they got Dable and what they do on the offense, I think they're okay, and they're in pretty damn good shape. All 3 of those teams made the playoffs. 3 teams out of the NFC East made the playoffs. I had to say that again. And the North, right now, depending on the Green Bay Packers, because they said they're done, they're going to get rid of him. They'll figure out the trade package. It's Jordan Love, Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins, and Jared Goff. My God. Now, I don't mean to insult Jordan Love, but guess what? I haven't seen enough out of me to say, yeah, that's our guy. Now, Green Bay thinks that. They obviously drafted him. But I haven't seen anything that proves anything to me about Jordan Love. Justin Fields, it's got to be able to get the ball downfield. Can't run for 150 at the quarterback position and win football games. He's only proven it for 2 years. Well, pretty much last year, big time. But he was running. But it's not going to work. The interesting name on this list is Jared Goff. And I want to tell you the reason why. From what I'm hearing is that the Lions could be in the run for Lamar Jackson. But look what Jared Goff did last year. I'm not saying he was great, but he is much better than what they've had. Breaking news. Oh, thank you for the update. I appreciate that because we actually kind of, when I was in chipmunk mode a little bit, I mentioned Jay. So I guess here it is. Ramsey is no longer a Ram. So from Adam Schefter, the trade is now agreed to is that the Dolphins are going to get Jalen Ramsey, and the Rams are going to get a 2023 third-round pick, that's number 77, and Hunter Long. And that right there, I'm going to tell you, it's based upon the contract. I don't know what Ramsey's number is, but I think Rams may have got the better on this deal. I don't know. I mean, they're going to get the 77 pick. Hunter Long is a badass, guys. I'm telling you right now, you look him up. If you don't know who he is, that's what it is. And I will tell you, this is a really interesting. Ian Rappaport comes out with an adjusted contract. Ramsey is now booked for 36.9 fully guaranteed over the next 2 years as well, and is landing where he's landing. Interesting. Thanks for the update. I appreciate that, Anthony. There were a couple of games I saw Ramsey just get embarrassed. So, and I think that's the reason why you've seen that. But at the same time, the Rams weren't worth a nickel. So, yeah, and I've talked to Tom McManus about this a couple of times, and he's just not a believer of it. Maybe it's because I'm a fan, and I read what I see because I watch the damn games, as one Randy Galloway says. But when I look at this, I just don't get it. Just don't get it. I watch these games and man, what happened to Ramsey? I mean, he got thoroughly embarrassed. But what I see, and Tom McManus don't necessarily see, or maybe don't want to say, and I get that, is that what I see is when a team is not playing well, I think you see a drop in performance regardless how much money that they make. If you're Jalen Ramsey, you know how much money you're getting paid. So whether or not you're playing good, bad, or indifferent, that guaranteed money is there. And if he doesn't do anything for the rest of his life, he should be able to figure out how to live off of it. So that's what we're seeing. And thanks for the update. I do appreciate that. That is breaking news right here up on the Couch Potato Sports Show. So, Ramsey, I don't know. I like Ramsey because he's a former Jacksonville Jaguar. So that's number one. So I got a little love for him because of that. Went to the Rams. I don't know. I just don't know. It's a little weird. And I'm getting messages. I think it's probably from Cuervo. Let's see where the message is from. Yeah. By the way, okay. Yep, that Cuervo, let me know about that. Thank you. To Miami. Yep, he's going to Miami. Going to South Beach. Interestingly enough. Going to go play with Tua. Picking up his 5th-year contract. I know Cuervo wants this guy to sit out a year and then come back if he's going to come back. Tua's going to make the money. He's picked up. So whether he plays or not, they're going to be there. So, all right. So let me go through some other things as we are here. Calvin Ridley, I want to talk a little bit about him. I effed up. I made the worst mistake in my life, gambling on football. Yeah, but you are going to be one bad man. I'm telling you right now, it might have been the steal of last year with Calvin Ridley and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So you think about Calvin Ridley and how good he was before last year. I'm sure he's keeping himself in shape. Then you add up on their wide receiving core in Jacksonville. I can't wait to see this as a Jacksonville Jaguar fan. The Jaguars, I'm going to tell you right now, in the AFC South, some teams better get a move on because I'm lucky. I get to be a Jaguar fan. I've been a Jaguar fan. So it's huge for me to see this kind of thing. I want to see the Jaguars be. And Lord forbid, if the Jaguars pick up something else, it would be really, really interesting. By the way, the Ramsey thing, he does live in Florida, so he also goes back there, no state taxes. So that's something that they get it. Let's look at the Saints. Here are your potential starters with the signing of Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, badass. Chris Olave, badass. Tyson Hill, badass. The one in the middle should be embarrassed. That being Michael Thomas. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Michael Thomas is not a superstar. That would make me sound stupid. But the problem is that I think that he was doing some business by not playing because of how bad that team was last year. Yes, he got hurt or injured. You're hurt. You're only hurt when you're winning. You're injured when you're losing, unless it's a real injury. So when you see that, that is huge. Now, that being said, back to Matthew Stafford, and just throw this out here. With Daniel Jones, I want you to look at these numbers. Interestingly enough, Daniel Jones, when you look at these numbers from last year, just kind of remember something, our career yard, everything. Remember, old Baker wasn't starting for a lot. I'm not saying Baker Mayfield is Daniel Jones. The numbers kind of say that, one might be better than the other, but come on. And I'm a Baker fan. I am. I'll admit it. But last year, Daniel Jones was a better quarterback. There's just no question about that. If you're not watching the game, you're not seeing the development from 1 year with new first-year head coach Dable and what Dable did the year before that when he was with Josh Allen. You're just not seeing this. So as much as I love Baker, I saw this, and not to give Baker any praises, whoever made this chart is incredibly stupid. Because when you play in the NFL, it is all about what have you done for me lately. Kyler Murray, he is being called out big time. And his offensive lineman, Calvin Beachum, just has a little bone to pick with him, saying, be a man, grow up. I didn't say he lacks leadership. I just think he needs to grow up a little bit. I don't blame him for coming out and saying it. Because in the NFL and the what have you done for me lately thing, he just got the money. He got Arizona completely handcuffed through this whole thing. Just really sad. All right, let's look at some teams that are going to be on the rise. Now, this is obviously before what's going to happen this week. Now, again, Cuervo and I may jump on Monday or Tuesday if there's some really big signings. We may hop on, and that hop on time will be 5 o'clock if we do it. But let's look at some teams right now. They are, say whatever you want, they're on the rise. The Bears, especially with that signing, is huge. It's been doing what they're doing, trading out of there. The Broncos, new head coach, a real quarterback, Russell Wilson, might show up this year. The Indianapolis Colts, though, this was an interesting one that was on the list where I'm shaking my head because they don't even have a quarterback right now. I don't know how you can be on the rise in reality when you don't even have a quarterback. And I'm just going to see, unless I miss something or something big signing, some quarterbacks that are there. I just, if you don't have a quarterback, you can't be on the rise. And which, by the way, you want to talk about a team that maybe made a big mistake? Is Indianapolis not working with the Bears to get that, because they are definitely a quarterback behind. And when you say whatever you want, right now, Ryan Kelly being on the trading block, probably one of the best centers in the NFL. They're throwing him on the trading block along with Mo Alleycox, the tight end. Alleycox could end up being cut. But a team desperate for, I don't know how they're on that list, but they are. So I don't know. Interestingly enough, Saints. DC put in Saints. So let me see. Did I get the wrong? No, the Dolphins. He's going to the Dolphins. So I don't know what that Saints means there, DC. Not sure. But the Rams, I don't know how they're on a big league because they don't have the quarterback situation as well. I don't know what I think about Matthew Stafford coming off an injury, coming off the season as bad as it was. I don't know. Coming off the uncertainty, hell, from having your damn coach. That's always an uncertainty. Oh, add the Saints on the rise? That could be. Because looking at that division, because Tampa Bay hasn't done, which Tampa Bay should have went after Derek Carr. Yeah, said it, but they didn't. So the Saints got him. Now, that all depends on what Michael Thomas shows up. In that whole thing, having Michael Thomas be a guy that you can depend on, he better be there. Because without him, kind of makes that a little bit worse. So I kind of like the Saints on the rise a little bit, depending on how Carr's there. So I'm looking at that, and I see that. So I'm missing on, out of the 5, there's 2 of them I'm questionable about. Teams that are about ready to fall, and Tennessee is one of them. They're letting everybody go. I mean, they're letting everybody go, and they are making a mistake about Derrick Henry. Well, Henry's up on the chopping block, and there are teams, he may go back to Tennessee. They're not going to pay him some crazy money. But Kansas City, would they take him? That'd be interesting. The Eagles, I don't think, need him. The Bills, that could help put him over the top. And then Atlanta wants everybody. So, he's going to be part of that list. So hugely enough, I like that whole thing, but man, that don't look good for Tennessee. Minnesota is another one. Okay. You better be able to hope Kirk Cousins can do exactly what he did last year to get him a shot to do what they are going to do to make the playoffs. Seattle, I'm not going to fall for Geno Smith, especially at $52 million, because you want to talk a guy that could take a nosedive and it won't matter because he just pocketed $52 million, seeing how much, I don't know. I mean, his whole career, where is that? I'm going to find this thing because I thought it was interesting. Maybe it's down at the bottom. There it is. Career earnings, $17 million. His whole career, he's going to make $52 million this year. So I think that just tells you a lot in reality. So Tampa Bay not getting that whole thing done, and Las Vegas Raiders. But I'm going to tell you, 2 teams, Tampa Bay and the Raiders, and I know we joke about it all the time, and I know I joke a lot about where Jimmy G is all about, but when those 2 teams pick up Jimmy G, they almost automatically, especially Tampa Bay, because of the weapons that they have at the wide receiver position, moves them to an upward base as well. So a Jimmy G signing by either the Las Vegas Raiders and or Tampa Bay is another thing. By the way, the Raiders are in a battle to get Aaron Rodgers to try to keep their wide receiver happy because who was throwing him the football this year obviously didn't get the job done. Derek Carr, his old buddy, but he needs his other buddy, Aaron Rodgers, to throw him the football so he can be happy because that's another contract. Those are going to be two big numbers that I don't know if the Raiders can do it, but hey, in the terms of the man who owned him before, just win, baby. Spend the money, get him there. Yeah, exactly. They have 2 years on Geno Smith. Give those defensive coordinators and the teams that know that they got to play them, get film on them. I'm telling you right now, I just can't wait for this. I just can't wait to be able to laugh about this later on and say that I was right, because it's going to happen. You see, because with Geno Smith, it's not if it'll happen, it's when. We'll see Geno Smith. Now, I'm not going to say that maybe he had I'm not going to not say he had some of the best coaching that he probably ever had in his whole career, because you don't do what Geno Smith did without good coaching. So, yeah, and you're talking about, I know you want to see him, Kansas City, that being Derrick Henry. I know that's where that's from. But I'm going to tell you right now, Geno Smith, I can't wait for it to happen. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll take a look at that. So those are 5 teams or 10 teams that are on the rise or on the way up. But one's kind of staying neutral, because I don't know what it's all about with one Tua, but I want you to look at these numbers. And it's the reason why Tua should have been considered at least a mouthpiece to talk about as far as MVP before he got hurt. Look at the numbers and watch the game. He played well. I know that. I said it. But look at Miami, where they are now. And listen, I don't know where they picked up I know where they got him. I'm just saying this guy came out of nowhere as a head coach and turned this team completely around. Now, granted, the Tyreek Hill did. By the way, if you don't know, Tyreek Hill just ran and blew everybody out in the indoor track and the 60-yard dash or 60 meter, whatever it was. And not only that, he kicked everybody's ass in that no one was even close. Talk about speedster. But look at the Miami Dolphins total ranking by year. And look who was running them. 25, 22, 27 from Brian Flores. Adam Gase. Oh, my God. 31, 25, 24. They're at number 6. Now, granted, a lot has to do with Tyreek Hill. A lot has to do with personnel. A lot has to do with play calling. And I don't know what this guy's doing at the play calling, but I'm telling you right now, you don't go from 25 to 6 without having some damn success, whether that is, yes, you got the weapons. Yes, you had everything going on. And remember, Tua wasn't in these lineups for many, many weeks, and they still were 6th. So where are these free agents going to go? Who are those free agents? Let's talk about it. Offensive side, Lamar Jackson, Daniel Jones wrapped up, Derek Carr wrapped up, Jimmy G's still out there, Geno wrapped up. So 3 of the 5, top 5, still out there ready to go. Then you got Ben. I love me some Ben Powers. I'm telling you right now, this guy, I can't wait for this guy to get a job. Watch out for him. Orlando Brown, huge. Taylor from the Jaguars. That'd be a big loss for the Jaguars. Man, but I don't know that. Josh Jacobs is signed. And Troy Steele, he's still out there for the job. These are the guys that people have had their eye on, okay? And 4 of them are locked up and ready to go. The other ones, could end up somewhere. Top 10 defensive guys. I find this list really, and by the way, I'm not sure which ones have signed, so just bear with that. But just the names on this list, every one of these 10, when I was looking at this thing, improves your team dramatically on the defensive side of the ball. Every single one of them. So the question is, who's going to get the money? Will they be switching teams or staying? But I'm telling you, out of these top 10s, when I'm looking at them again, I don't know who has signed out this list. But I'm going to tell you right now, at least 7 of them, they better be retained by the team that they're on there. And 3 of them are right there with Philly. Philly needs to get at least 2 of these 3 back. Now, these players aren't stupid either. Depending on where they are in their career, they know where they are, they know what team, and they can talk about money. And this is a big part of the game right now, especially with the Philly team. With 3 of the 30% of the top 10 right there, where they are, where they were, not more than just a month ago in the Super Bowl. Do they want to get back? And that is huge. Thank you. So Hargraves, see that, I'm going to tell you right now, that's a big signing for Chicago. And again, the Bears, you're a little late, Cuervo, but the Bears, now I'm not going to say they're going to make it into the 3rd round of the playoffs. I'm not even going to say they're going to make the playoffs, but they're surely setting a foundation to be as good as that they possibly can be. So Hargraves, that's a big one. Thank you for the update on that, Cuervo. But interestingly enough, there are some teams that are out there that are setting themselves up for not just success next year, but years to come. These right here are teams that are pushing the best teams, I think, in reality. When I see this list, is there any other team on there that you think that are going to be on the rise? Well, that'll depend on some of the signings that we're going to see, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, because the Jets can be a team that's on there. That Gardner kid on the defensive side of the ball for the Jets is a game changer on the defensive side of the ball. And when you have a game changer, you got a lot going for you. And where guys are ending up, I don't know. But here's what I do know. Only one of the 3 teams that made it into the playoffs out of one division of football is on this list, that being Philadelphia Eagles. Remember the Cowboys and the Giants. They made the playoffs, 3 teams out of the NFC East. And there you go. Interesting also, I think there is a team missing on this list because I think there's going to be some noise being made. Outside of the top 5 in here, I think Denver is one of these teams you're going to have to watch out just because of the pedigree of the coaching and the coaching staff that is going over there. It almost puts them in a position that is there. So watch out for, I think they are a team that we could be talking about. And everybody is talking about, I've seen some crazy memes. I didn't get it because when I saw it, I was, kind of half at work and kind of just looking off to the side. Everybody's talking about, teams that are setting up and getting better for that future. I will tell you, depending upon the personnel for the next few years, depending on if you can keep them happy, if you sign Lamar Jackson, that being the Ravens could be a name that's on this list. And depending on the health of one quarterback that got picked up for his 5th year, I'm talking to the Miami Dolphins could be a name that's on this list. So you got to look at it. And it will all depend upon where they'll end up and where they're going to go. You know, but this right here, Cuervo, and I'm going to read it in case you're not watching. The rumors are the Bears are prepared to outbid whoever they need to land left tackle Orlando Brown out of Kansas City, even if it means overpaying, and that's per a source within the NFL. Remember, Justin Fields was sacked 55 times this past season, which is tied for most of the league, most in the league. So there you go. You got to like what's going on. So there's also teams looking to change the dynamic of their team, and the way you do that's at quarterback. So you got 10 quarterbacks, and I think in the first round, you'll see these top 3 go. Young, Stroud, and Hooker are gonna be taken in that first round, I think. These other ones, they'll hang out in the second and third rounds. And depending on who you like or how they like or what they looked at when they played and how much they think that will generate into the NFL, the guys that are lower, teams might be taking a stretch on Will Levis. I'll tell you, Will Levis is a game I'm hearing a lot. And I don't necessarily know why, because if they wanted a University of Kentucky guy, they would have got my guy a few years back. So I don't know if you can put too much pedigree on quarterbacks coming out of the University of Kentucky. I just said it. I don't mean any disrespect from any of those that have gone there. But once you get to the Super Bowl, you make it, and you got to win it. Why? Because you don't have a habit getting back. Because 17 of the last quarterbacks to lose their Super Bowl debut haven't made it back. Now, Joe Burrow's still kind of new on that. Jimmy G, Jared Goff, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick, Rex Grossman, there's a name for you, Cuervo, Matt Hasselbeck, Donovan McNabb, Jake Delhomme, Kerry Collins, Rich Gannon, Steve McNair, Chris Chandler, Drew Bledsoe, Neil O'Donnell, and Stan Humphries. Never made it back. But right now, there's 2 that might be able to do it now. Joe Burrow, Jimmy G, depending on what team he lands on. But I'm not buying, as much as I love the story about the Lions, I'm not buying the Lions hype at all. And if and when that comes out, that should be really interesting. Now, that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. I usually do 2 hours if I'm going to fly it all solo. One last thing. And I hate this stat. But I'm going to talk about it here for the next few minutes. The Patriots under Bill Belichick were 219-64. Without Brady, they are 42-44, under 500. Now, that being said, winning percentage with Brady was almost at 75%. You're not even at 50 without him. So, the years without Tom Brady, you're seeing what's going on. You see the dependency of the GOAT to one Bill Belichick. But people talk about Bill Belichick even now, even with their quarterback problems, because this is a football team. I'm going to tell you right now, the Patriots are they're a team that could be in the running for bringing Jimmy G back. I'm hearing stories that might happen, might not. Some saying, oh, hell no. Some saying no. But Mac Jones, will he become the guy that can become 50% of Tom Brady? And I say that outside of the Super Bowls, okay? But I'm talking about performance-wise. Mac Jones is not living up to it. Bailey Zappi looked like he could, but they don't have enough in him to say, we'll just hand you the starter. Brian Hoyer is just the backup. Are the Patriots going to be in line for a quarterback in this draft? And I say that because when I look at it, I don't know. Because when you're looking at, let me put that thing back up here. Here's your quarterbacks coming out. Do the Patriots make a move? Are the Patriots in line to maybe bring in a guy? So, there's a lot of guys that are going to be going on this list. And let's see here. Where is that pace? That thing. Where is it? This one right here. Anthony Richards, where will that guy end up? Could that be a next guy? I don't know. But what are the Patriots going to do? The Patriots are in a really weird place as far as the franchise is concerned, because they have been mediocre at best with a GOAT at your coaching position. And everybody's going to ask, can he continue being a GOAT at the head coaching position? If they can continue with a GOAT at the head coaching position with guys that just don't have the pedigree, or they have what's going on, or have what it is in order for them to win. And this was another guy's name being mentioned headed to New England. Now, I haven't heard that one as much, but I heard enough of it to make it ring in the back of the head. Man, if the Patriots can pull off a Lamar Jackson, because remember, the Patriots don't give a rip really in reality about, draft picks. Say whatever you want about them. And Bill Belichick, they don't have much love for too many of them. When you got a guy who wins 70% of his games, could that be a relationship that could be the next big thing? Keep that in mind, because Lamar Jackson's going to be a big subject of what's going to be going on here in the next 3 days. And talks will be all about, will it be enough? Will it be who's going to give enough? And then will the Ravens match what is given to them? Because it'll be more than the monies that they put up on there, which was, it matched the 133 for them, so they could care less that they franchise tag them. They're going to pay them what they wanted to if they were going to keep him on that team this year, regardless of what he wants or what everybody thinks he's worth. So that's something to watch out for. Lamar Jackson, listen, I'm not going to take away from the talent. The guy is there. The guy has skills, and I'm not going to take that away from him. But he's got to be out on the football field before any team is going to be throwing $200 million at him. And I don't care what Stephen A has to say, because right now, I think the monies that are being offered to Lamar Jackson is the right numbers, because if he did business last year, or if he didn't, whatever the case may be, 10 games, not on the football field, vital time of the season, you don't know what kind of quarterback you got. And that's just facts. Your quarterback becomes great from week 14 to 18. And that's where your guy gets paid, and then what he does in the playoffs. And Jackson hasn't done it enough, and just because he's playing well doesn't mean that he's going to do it again next year. And that's what right now the Ravens are saying. Listen, before we pump down $200 million to a guy that we haven't seen in the last 10 games in the last 2 seasons, we ain't paying him. And frankly, the Ravens are right. That's me. That's what I think. And I am Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio. I'm out of here, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.